Hello everyone. Today we will learn about gravitation. The topics are what is gravitation and universal law of gravitation. So let us start with gravitation. There is a very interesting story about Sir Isaac Newton. Once he was sitting under an apple tree. Suddenly an apple dropped on his head. He thought, why did this apple came and fall on my head? Instead, it could have gone anywhere else. So like the example of this pen, if I drop this pen, it will always come down. Or take any object, if you drop this, it will come down. Throw the object upwards, again it will come down. So why is it happening? Why not the object is going somewhere else? He became very curious and then thought that there is some force which is pulling the objects downward. He termed that force as gravitation. He also found that this force of gravitation is not only present between the object and the planet Earth, also it is present everywhere in the universe. Like the revolution of moon around the earth, the revolution of planets around the sun, the universe, all these are governed by the force that is gravitational force. From a small ant to the huge universe, each and everything is governed by the gravitational force. Even the tides are also governed by the gravitational force. Now, let us see what is universal law of gravitation stated by Newton. The law states that every object in the universe attracts every other object with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their center. Now, let us try to understand this law with an example. Suppose we have two objects, object A and object B. The mass of object A is m1 and the mass of object 2 is m2. This is the center of the two objects and the distance between these two centers is denoted by r. So, the law states that every object in the universe attracts every other object. So, the object A is attracting object B as well as object B is attracting object A. Both are attracting each other with what? With the force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses. So, both the objects are attracting each other with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses. So, product of their masses m1 and m2. So, m1 and m2. And the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. So, what is the distance between their centers? R is the distance between their center. So, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their center. By combining both these equations, we can write F is directly proportional to m1 and m2 upon r square. If we remove this sign, we get F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. So G is called as constant of proportionality and it is named as G stands for universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. It is a constant. The value of G is constant everywhere in the universe and the value of G is 6.673 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. This value is constant everywhere in the universe. So, again, what does the law states that every object is attracting every other object with a force which is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional. Inversely means 1 upon. Inversely proportional to a square of the distance between their center. Combining both, we will get F is directly proportional to m1 into m2 by r square. Removing the sign of directly proportional, we can put a constant, and the constant is called as universal gravitational constant, and the value is 6.673 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. This is the unit of universal gravitational constant. Now, we will find out what is G. So, G will become, G is equal to R square will go and multiply with F. So, we will get F R square. This M1 and M2 will come in the denominator part. So, it will become G is equal to F R square upon M1 into M2. This is the formula for universal gravitational constant, where F stands for gravitational force, R stands for the distance, M1 and M2 are the masses of the two objects, and G is our universal gravitational constant.